guys, so first of all I want to say thank you for watching this video. I've just watched it back and I thought let me just put in another clip just for the sake of context. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about Red Bull and Mercedes, but now I look back at it, I don't feel like I've done the relationship enough justice. Like I don't think I've explained the context enough. So what I'm going to do is my next episode is going to be about the 2021 season, and fans that know what I'm talking about, yes I will be running my mouth about it, and yes I will be giving my 2 pence because it may have happened 3 years ago but I'm still angry about it. For fans that don't know what I mean, it's probably one of the most controversial things that ever happened in Formula One. So once you understand that, you'll understand why Max going over to Mercedes is such a huge deal. But enjoy the video and hopefully I will see you again soon. Enjoy! Hi guys, so if you're watching this, that means you're watching my first ever podcast. Welcome. I can't believe I'm doing this. I think it has been a bit of a long time coming, but here we are. I've just come back from the British Grand Prix, which was probably one of my favourite races of all time now. It was very historical and it was just an experience to be had. So I woke up this morning and I thought, what could I possibly make my first Formula One vlog about? It could be about anything. It could be about the British Grand Prix. It could be about this. It could be about that. It could be about anything. So this morning I was kind of brainstorming and I thought, you know what? Why not make a video about, we all know the news that apparently Max Verstappen may be heading over to Mercedes. So I thought that could be a good topic to talk about. And then this morning, the news broke that Red Bull team principal and CEO Christian Horner has been sacked effective immediately. I thought, Lord, you give me some work to do, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because the people need to talk about that, especially after the scandal that happened last year. But to me personally, it did come a bit of a shock. Just because there was a bit of controversy last year and pretty much he came out of it unscathed. And then about a year later, he's gone. So let's dig into that a little bit more. The story is, this time about last year, a story broke that CEO and team principal of Red Bull Racing, Christian Horner, had been exposed for having inappropriate texts and conversations with an employee of his, right? Now, I can't remember her exact job title, but all I know is that she worked for Red Bull Racing. If you do a little bit of digging, you can still find the WhatsApp messages somewhere. Now, the chat, bearing in mind, Christian is a married man. If you do not know, wake up. He's married to Ginger Spice. Okay, he's married to Jerry Horner, or Jerry Holloway Horner. And this man is begging this woman for nudes. Like, he is begging her, can you send me this, can you send me that? Now, I'm not going to go into what the text says because I am really paraphrasing it, but that was pretty much the gist of it. And as a result of that, now here is even Morty. Fast forward a little bit later, despite the investigation, she gets put, I believe, don't quote me, on paid leave. So she basically gets sacked. He has stayed in position. So everyone's like, Sir, how have you managed to pull that off? Anyway, from that moment and from when I seen the text and when I seen that she had been let go and not him, I was like, okay, I don't like this guy at all. And 4 years on the trot, they've been world champions with Max Verstappen. Now, Max Verstappen undoubtedly is one of the best Formula One drivers of his generation. That makes Max Verstappen such a good driver is that he's willing to just say, I'm just going to go for it. And whereas other drivers will kind of be more cautious and be like, I'm not going to do that. The team with Red Bull is that they have got Max Verstappen, their second seat. Doesn't matter who you put in that second Red Bull seat, they cannot drive the car. They very rarely get it out of P15. So they keep replacing their drivers just because they haven't got a solid team and the only solid driver they've got is Max. For part of the reason why Red Bull had been so successful in recent years is because not only did they have the fastest driver on the grid, but they also had the fastest car by a mile. It was literally just Max 20 seconds ahead and everybody else just
fighting for what's left behind him. And the person that was responsible for this fast car, Adrian Newey, has recently left Red Bull and he's now gone to Aston Martin. So Red Bull don't have that fast car that they used to because the man that was giving them that fast car is gone to Timbuktu. It's then led us fans to believe, are there deeper issues at Red Bull? Weekend after that had got announced, or not long after, Max Verstappen and his dad, mostly his dad, pretty much it was his dad. His dad said publicly, like, look, I don't want my son driving for Red Bull Racing. There was pictures of Christian Horner and his dad pretty much arguing during races, so you could tell tensions were high. And last year there were rumours circulating, or started to circulate, that Max was going to be leaving Red Bull, which at the time was a massive deal, like, until now. So as of this weekend, there have been increasing reports that apparently Max Verstappen is going to be leaving Red Bull and he'll be going to Mercedes, which is like even more tea, which I will get into in a moment. I always say these are just like, it's just speculation, it's just news articles. However, there is no smoke without fire. We've seen this happen before. We've seen it happen when Lewis Hamilton left Mercedes to go to Ferrari. Now, before that happened and before it got announced, there were rumours, there was interviews, and they were like, you know, Lewis, are you in talks with Ferrari? And his response was, I am not talking to Ferrari. The rumours are not true. Turning him down. Couple months later, it's got announced he's leaving Mercedes and is going for Ferrari. So this is a similar type of thing I am now seeing with Max Verstappen going to Mercedes. Similar type of headlines, and because of what happened last time, I just think there's no smoke without fire. So I think the conversations are genuinely happening. The situation is this: they have a second seat which no driver can seem to drive. Number two, you just lost your key engineer, the man that was responsible for making you that rocket of a car. 3, there are now rumours, a year after the scandal, that Max Verstappen will be leaving Red Bull Racing and going to Mercedes. Christian Horner sat in his corner, got sacked this morning. So my 2 pence on it is this in regards to Red Bull. The weeks go by, Max has been complaining a lot about that car. He's like, I can't get any speed out of it. I can't do anything with it. I can't do anything with it. Now, I'm sure at the British Grand Prix, I'm sure Max finished 10th, I think. Bearing in mind the man started on pole. The man started on pole and finished 10th. And anybody who knows Formula 1 knows that Max Verstappen ain't taking pennies or change. That man's. I think it's come to a point now where Max has been like, look, the car's not doing what it needs to be doing. The person in the second seat clearly can't drive the car. I don't see it getting any better from here. So I'm going to go and talk to a team that can potentially offer me better. And Red Bull have kind of looked at the scandal with Christian Horner. I don't think many fans have got over it. I don't think many fans have chosen to ignore it. So they've decided to let him go. But it's not clear as of yet why they've sacked him. I think it's got something to do with either Max or the scandal. One of the two. But, my darlings, the plot thickens. It's real. Max wants to leave Red Bull for Mercedes. Let's talk about what's going on at Mercedes right now. So Mercedes have had one of the best runs in Formula 1 history. So Mercedes have 2 drivers. They have George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. George Russell started off, he's their golden boy, essentially. He started off with Williams and then later joined Mercedes very young and has basically developed himself now into their first driver because Lewis is obviously gone, so he's their main guy now. Little Kimi Antonelli, who is so adorable and I just love and I could just cuddle because he's like a kid. He's a baby. So you've got 2 drivers here. You've got one that's been there for a number of years and you've built up to be your poster boy, and then the second one is a very, very young little baby. If Max Verstappen's going to leave Red Bull and go into Mercedes, whose seat is he going to take? George Russell's contract is out at the end of the year. George Russell and Max Verstappen do not like each other one bit. It's clear. I think something happened within the race and Max does what Max does best and he just gets angry and he just hits everybody and he just lashes out in anger, which is true. That's exactly what Max does. And George has made it very clear to the media that he doesn't appreciate Max's style of driving, and he just also doesn't appreciate Max as a whole. I think they recently came to heads in a Canadian Grand Prix where I think George went into Max, nothing happened, and then I think somehow they were trying to overtake each other. It was like really intense, and Max overtook George, but he did it in a way that was not like correct. So he was basically told, okay, you need to give that spot back to George. And then he basically drives into George. That is exactly what George is talking about. So the question is my boy Toto, who is the CEO and team principal of Mercedes Petronas Formula One team, gonna get rid of George to replace him with Max? I don't know, because Max is a very particular driver and he has a very particular way of working, which I think worked with Red Bull Racing. It worked with them because they're just as ruthless as Christian Horner sat in his corner. It works like that, whereas Toto and Mercedes don't necessarily work in that type of way. So whether Max at Mercedes could work, I don't know. I do not see them giving up Kimi. I don't, because Kimi's their long-term project, right? Kimi's the one that's like the star boy. We've got him in at 17. We're going to develop him in the Mercedes seat and get him ready. I mean, now some people have said to me this weekend, maybe Kimi's not ready for it yet and they'll take Max and put him in that seat. I would never imagine Max and George on the same team. I have a feeling that if George has heard or has some form of inkling that Max Verstappen is going to be joining Mercedes, he'll say, if you take him on, I'm gone. With that being said, I think the rumours are true that he probably is going to go over to Mercedes. But I then think that then leaves George vulnerable. But George's contract is up with Mercedes at the end of the year anyway. Unless they're going to renew George's contract, which now we're hearing that Red Bull have got rid of their team principal and CEO. So I imagine Red Bull have probably heard the rumours that Max wants to leave. They don't want to lose Max, because who wants to lose a 4-time world champion? I think they probably had conversations and said, you know, what is it that we need to do to get you to stay? I think it's a case of there's rumours going around that Max is in conversation with other teams. Red Bull don't want to risk losing him, so Red Bull says, you know what, we don't want to lose you, we'll get rid of him and we'll restructure around you. We'll have to see, because now that Red Bull have sacked Christian, will that then affect Max's decision to leave? I don't know. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much drama, there is so much to come. I will be making videos as the season goes on, just talking about the gossip, talking about the tea, and then also talking about the Grand Prix as well. I'm always open to hearing different people's opinions, so please do feel free to drop your opinion. But the aim of these videos is to hopefully create an F1 community of people that are, you know, big fans, know everything from tyres, stuff like that, to not so like to new fans, you know, people who don't necessarily know Formula One but are interested in getting into it. So yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you again soon.